Thank you very much. Governance matters. So I've got, now could we make a change to number 2? I just want to take out A and B, and I'll bring a paper back in the new year, and if we could change the headline to say appoint a member, appoint Councillor Major to replace Paul Lonsdale, who I have personally thanked for his contribution to Ōtautahi Community Housing Trust. He represented us on there when he was a councillor and remained on for a term afterwards. And I'll come back to the appointments of the other 2 positions in the new year. I will, but I do want to get the replacement done now. I go back to the community museum. So Councillors Cotter and Galloway are currently, and Tom Thompson is our independent person on there. They are our current appointments, so they're reappointments. David East is a current appointment, but I would like a little bit of time to discuss the appointment of a new person to take his place and to develop a good process for doing so. Between now and then, he's agreed to remain on until the 30th of April, so I would like your support for that. This was supposed to be Councillor Galloway to keep Christchurch beautiful. Sorry, there's just a couple of things here. And thank you, Councillor Cotter, for being a liaison person for that. And can we scroll up to the Karashki Sister City? And if we could put Councillor Melanie Coker, or Councillor Coker, as a representative on that. That's great, thank you. And I think if we are good with that...
I'd like to move an amendment, if I could. So I'd like to move an amendment that
sorry, there's no motion on the table yet, so it's a bit premature.
No, sorry, I'll move an amendment.
So we've got... okay, so well, I'll move the recommendations en bloc. You'll second it, Mike Davidson. Right. Amendment.
Cool. Yeah, now I'd like to move an amendment. Thank you for that. Right. I'd like to amend that we appoint Councillor Major and Councillor Johansson to replace. Yeah, the wording about Paul Lonsdale would need some changing as well. Or it could just simply read appoint Councillor Major and Councillor Johansson to the Ōtautahi Community Housing Trust. And I suppose it does it. Yeah, just fine.
Okay, so all right. So you want to that's not the amendment. It's appoints Councillor Major and, so you want to add the words and Councillor Johansson, and to remove the words to replace Paul Lonsdale.
Yeah, otherwise the sentence
Councillor Major
make sense.
To replace Paul Lonsdale and Councillor Johansson. So put and Councillor Johansson. Right.
Yeah, that'll work.
Okay, and
Point of clarification.
what?
Oh, so clarification. With, at the moment, the original resolution appointing Councillor Major, that would mean that to replace Paul Lonsdale, does that mean that the other two existing council appointments were being retained anyway for now until new appointments were made?
Yeah.
At which point we've only got 3 allowable places.
Yes.
So the amendment would have to specify who that was to replace.
No.
No, otherwise we'd end up with 4
No,
council appointments.
we would have to make the decision. It's essentially making the decision that Councillor Johansson would replace one of the.
As well.
one of
I'm
the
happy
two.
to include Vicky Buck, former councillor Vicky Buck, as part of the amendment. That would square it off completely.
Okay.
Or to add who?
Sorry, I wasn't expecting this to occur, so I'm. Yeah, that's right, and sit back. Okay, so to replace Paul Lonsdale and councillors and reappoint. And reappoint Vicky Buck after Councillor Johansson. No, you don't need to say who they're replacing. You just need to say, and appoint councillor. And reappoint. So, you might want to find the old resolution and just
change their names.
change the names. So, in which case that would be, because
They would need to be separate though, because
yeah, I know, because
some of those on the, yeah.
appoint 3 members to the Otatahi Community Housing Trust,
It's exactly the same,
Yeah.
but just put the 3 different names.
and then put the 3 names. Yeah, so,
So the amendment is to replace Andrew Turner with,
They're just rewording it to
Yeah.
appoint 3.
no, the amendment
No.
doesn't, because I changed the wording of
yeah,
the
that's right.
motion, and I wasn't expecting this amendment to be played out at this stage. I was seeking to avoid that, so that means that I have to now can I move an amendment to my motion? No,
You
can I
can just
move
do
an
it
amendment to the amendment?
No.
Deal with the motion on the table, but Councillor McClellan may be happy to accept this change that you have.
No, he won't. So,
Leanne,
No, Leanne can't, because you need first.
It hasn't been seconded anyway.
yeah, it has.
But
Leanne,
they
with
speak
agreement
up.
of the seconder of the original motion, you could alter your original motion, potentially. Is that right,
Okay.
Leanne?
We deal with that for
With the
Councillor
agreement of the
McClellan, then
seconder,
someone else may wish
she could
to
change her
move
original motion.
a motion.
First, yeah. But she could do it afterwards. Yeah, she would. Yeah, yeah.
It would only have to be the screen of the second
I think Jimmy and Sam said
motion.
Can I just check that that's not a direct negative? If it's the negative to the intent of,
Yes, and Vicky Buck. Yes, he did.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
So it should, 3 members, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Who seconded it?
the amendment, no, yeah.
That's what I said. I see.
So I should foreshadow.
This is the newbie block.
No, you can't. You move the original.
But you can change it, if the amendment passes or fails, you can still alter your original resolution, as long as it takes into account the amendment, yep.
Okay, so we'll deal with that appointment separately, and let's see if we can deal with the rest of the resolution.
Put the amendment first. You have to put the amendment first.
Amendment first. No. No.
No, it has to be afterwards.
My apologies. I've taken advice, and we will now deal with the amendment. So it has been moved and seconded, so I'll open it up for debate. James. This is just for the amendment to the Ototahi Community Housing Trust. No, I'm opening it up for debate.
Then can I just ask that you put A, B and C separately?
Yeah, I mean, it might be helpful if before we open it up for debate, I explain why I only wanted to appoint one. So, I mean, and it was the, sort of kind of the question. I'm the only one that can answer the recommendation that I put up, because this is an alternative to my recommendation. So am I able to do that without entering into debate?
Well, you're in debate on the amendment now, so with the agreement in the meeting, we could just go back to discussion.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
go into debate on the
Yeah.
actual motion.
Does anyone have any objection to that, or
It's fine.
To-
Having a bit more discussion.
I just want to explain why I put the resolution that I did, the proposal that I did, so that there is context for the vote that we will take on the amendment. Is that okay?
Point of order, isn't debate and discussion the same thing? Aren't we just in the same?
No, I'm asking, but you're objecting to that approach.
I'm seeking clarification.
Okay.
She doesn't want to discuss the amendment. She wants to
Normally,
discuss
you would have
her.
an opportunity for questions, but I
We
was
should just
told-
deal with the amendment first.
Yes, I know, but the question is, am I able to explain why I put my proposal as I did in the prior to
Maybe that
the
could just be a
debate?
So let me give you an officer clarification so that everybody's clear, please. Mike.
At the moment, we've got an amendment on the table. You can have discussion or ask questions around that amendment. If you want to speak to it, then you're able to speak to it.
Yes, I understand, but James put his hand up and it was a question. And then I said that we were dealing with the amendment first.
Yeah. Question.
But we were
Yes.
already in debate.
And if you... Yeah,
The chair can,
the amendment, that's right. Your question was about the amendment, so
Yeah.
we'll deal with the questions for the amendment. And if you want to answer any questions that have been raised to put it in context, well, then I think you can.
Right. Yeah.
Already had. So this is silent on what happens with the existing appointments. How are we going to deal with that? How do we deal with that? Or one step at a time, but it is silent on it.
Yeah, so that's helpful because it helps me explain. If you could scroll back up to the original recommendation. The reason that I had appoint Councillor Major to replace Paul Lonsdale on the Otautahi Community Housing Trust is that he is the one person who at this stage needed to have confirmation that we were replacing him. And so I contacted him and said that, and he wasn't unsurprised by the phone call. I thanked him for his service on our behalf and advised that we would make the decision today. So this enables the Otatahi Community Housing Trust to be informed that Councillor Major will replace Paul Lonsdale in the new year. So if we scroll back to the amendment, which is what we are debating, it doesn't make it clear who's replacing whom, and which is your question. But that is not fatal because, as I say, I have already informed Paul Lonsdale that is the case.
That's one person.
Yes, and the reason that I wanted to hold off the other two appointments for consideration in the new year is in order to have further conversations and to enable the chair of the community board now to conduct an interview because the particular in terms of the councillor that's being recommended, I want the opportunity for the chair to interview that person. It is very appropriate for an interview to occur before the appointment is made, and so I wanted to wait until the new year for that to be enabled. It can't happen now because I've had a conversation with the chair, sort of an in-depth conversation with the chair about the needs of the board, which is paramount, obviously, for our consideration. He was very clear about the needs of the board, and I want him to be able to interview somebody who hadn't been proposed by me in the first instance.
So has the...
He's away now on
Right.
a holiday.
So had the chair of the trust, has he spoken to Councillor Major?
No, but he indicated that he wanted a developer background,
Right.
and given that Councillor Major had the right background, I was confident that I could appoint him with the support of the chair of the trust.
Councillor Keogh's indicated.
Okay, so now I'm more confused because the original, in the agenda we got given and the public, it says that number 2 appoints 3 members to the Otatahi Community Housing Trust as follows: reappoints and appoints Councillor Major. That's no different to the amendment, which just says 3 names. So unless there's something going on that I don't know about, this doesn't make sense.
No, I changed the wording of it before I moved the resolution. So I changed the wording to appoints Councillor Major to replace Paul Lonsdale to make it explicit that he would be replacing Paul Lonsdale. I deferred the other 2 appointments that we make to the Otatahi Community Housing Trust to the new year. They don't have to be made immediately. I want to bring it back to the January one, and so, you know, this is your foreshadowed motion. If the amendment fails, we'll deal with the actual resolution that's in front of us.
So were we given, so the agenda we got was not right, but were we sent an email or something?
The agenda you were given was right.
Right.
I made an adjustment to it as a result of conversations that I had with people.
Right.
And I am very mindful, you know, that we are discussing individuals in the public, and I want us to be able to do so in a very respectful manner. And I would have preferred to allow the chair of the community trust to interview somebody that I hadn't proposed after having discussions with him.
I'm just going to bite my tongue.
Keogh's indicating.
Can I just say something here, that we do have a process for these appointments. And I think by making decisions along the lines of what you're going to debate shortly and make is not complying with that process.
Explain the process then, so we all understand what process has been gone through.
Well, we have a process under the appointments policy, the appointment of a panel to consider council organisation appointments.
This is not a council
This is a
organisation. It is not. It's an independent trust.
It actually is a council
No,
organisation.
it's not.
But we appoint one.
We have stayed absolutely clear of this being a council organisation. It is not a council organisation. It's an independent trust. We nominate a minority of trustees to the trust. We are not able to control it. We are not able to even...
I'm not saying that you would
we're
control
not
it.
able to have any say over what happens to the distribution of their property.
No.
We're not able to have any influence whatsoever other than appointing trustees. And they are not in the majority.
No, I accept that, but it is an appointment. We have the right to appoint one of the three of the trustees.
Yes, but it's not
So
a
that-
council organisation.
Well, that makes it a council organisation under the Act.
What?
I mean, look, I was just saying that from a process point of view,
From a
this
process
is not
point
a
of view,
good
we
way of doing
can't
it.
deal with this now if that is the advice, because if that is the advice, we can't make any appointments to it today.
It may be that we should confirm the position before we make an appointment. We find that out and make it clear. Perhaps defer it until such time as we can.
Can I just clarify? Yeah. Has this not gone through the legal team before coming here, or?
No, it hasn't.
Well, it didn't last time, and it wouldn't this time. This did not go through an appointments panel process.
Okay, well...
But anyway, look, if that is the advice, so is the Canterbury Museum Trust a council organisation?
That's subject to particular legislation around the appointment of...
This is ridiculous.
This isn't subject to any legislation, though, as the museum appointments are.
Can we... Look, I'm really sorry, but this is not... I mean, this is a live stream meeting of the
Chair,
council.
Can I suggest we adjourn for 5 minutes?
Yeah,
We'll have a
let's
we
adjourn
just
for
put the-
5 minutes and we'll... Sorry, we're going to recommence the meeting. Sorry about that. We've taken some advice. There is no risk to Otautahi Community Housing Trust's status, but it is clear that for the purpose of these appointments, it is regarded as within the process that we established for such appointments. The process was followed, but because one of the original appointments that I was considering was Andrew Turner, he stood aside from that decision and I made the recommendation, and those recommendations are set out, and I adjusted the recommendation in point 2. Point 2 or point 3? 2. So why is it called point 3 in the amendment? Sorry, go back to the amendment. So we're going to go straight to the amendment, and that's at number 2. Yep, and I'm going to put the amendment without debate, and so I will do so now. I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Oh, sorry, did you want to do them individually?
The process question, can we just go straight? If the vote for the amendment is no, we're still able to go back to the original and vote to someone who we've just voted no for? Yeah. Because it's a holistic thing? Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so so you don't want to do them individually? Right, okay. So I'll put the motion again. All those in favour say aye. Those opposed say no. No. So that's, could you please call a division? Yeah. Thank you.
Councillor Galloway. Councillor Johansson, step back from this.
Step back.
Step back. Councillor McLaren.
Yes.
Councillor Major.
No, you can't vote. No, step back. You're in the motion. No, you can't vote.
For yourself.
Yeah.
Councillor Goff. Sorry. Councillor Goff.
No.
Councillor McDonald.
Yes.
Councillor Kewen. Yes. Councillor Cotter. Yes. Councillor Davidson. No. Councillor Scandrett.
I'm going to abstain.
Councillor Chu. Yes. Councillor Coker. Yes. Councillor Templeton. No. Councillor Daniels.
No.
Councillor Chen.
Yes.
The Mayor.
No.
Seven for and 5 against. The motion's carried.
Thank you. And we'll move up to the balance of the recommendations. So that's been moved and seconded. So I'll put that motion. All those in favour say aye. Those opposed say no. That's carried. Thank you.
Excuse me. On just a process question, because Phil was not able to vote on the last one, shouldn't everyone named not vote in the substantive?
On the individual parts.
But people sat back. It's agreed that people didn't participate. We took those all as conflicts on the relevant ones.
I thought I heard everyone say
well,
yes.
You know. Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, just it was all moved together, so it just gets messy. Yes, no, no. Yes, no.
I think that the council secretariat are recording that people did not participate in the specific votes, so they set aside from the votes that related to themselves.